let's look at PulseChain because we have seen some major pumpage here over the course of the last week. Now, you may look at the charts today and see that the rate cut occurred and we're seeing the PulseChain prices pumping and stuff. That is true, but it was already pumping kind of earlier this week leading into this. We talked at length, I think it was on last week's show or over the course of the last 2 weeks, about this uber bearish sentiment. It was whatever episode that we titled like will crypto prices match the sentiment or whatever, something like that in the title. And we are basically highlighting how sentiment has just been absolutely atrocious. I was talking specifically about the comments right here on our channel from a lot of different people and stuff like that. Sentiment had just seemed way too irrationally horrible for where we were price-wise. It just didn't make sense for the amount of time that we were spending at those prices. So sure enough, the week after that, we start to see a pump, which, not to confirm that a bottom is in, but it is interesting that we started a pump right after that sentiment, would look like a bottom. So we already had PulseChain moving up, of course, even more so today. The whole way back up, it did touch a 1 point, 4 zeros and a 4. It's at 4 zeros, 3914 right now. We got PulseX back at 80% off the SAC rate of 4 zeros and a 2. Incentive up to about 190 right now. Hex has been pumping the most. I mean, since this pump commenced over this last week and then today, Hex has really been the one to steal the show. It's been a 0063 almost right now, and then eHex at 002 at the moment. So both of them, the Hex is really moving up big time here over the last few days. I mean, Hex has done literally a 2x in a week, maybe a little more than a week, but it was at 003 not long ago at all. So pretty miraculous. And just a reminder, like a stark reminder for people that are in this market, like it's down for so long. Not that we're at the at the top of the bull market yet. I'm not saying that, but things are down for so long. Their prices are depressed for so long that if you don't keep your head on a swivel when things start to move, if you aren't already positioned, you're good luck getting positioned because things just start to move. So, again, not that we're at that point of the bull market yet, but I mean, you can see that happening. So there you go. Yeah, there's the green candle right there. So this is Hex on Pulse, right?
This is eHex.
Okay.
I just thought it was interesting to see these couple big green candles, and it did double too. I mean, you're looking at just from September 6th. Let's just take it to today's price. 105%. So more than double there as well. So it's things are looking good there. I was trying to pull up the Hex chart here and it's not letting me, so let's do it this way. This is the Hex on PulseChain price, which it's looking very similar, very similar. They have the same structure. If you look, there we go.
There you go. I was gonna say, there you go. Yeah.
So they're very, very similar as well. So yeah, it's almost not quite doubled, but just about went from 0.0035 to 0.0062. So we've almost doubled in a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days. So it to your point though, yes, it doesn't take long. These things move and they get away from you, and it's why we recommend DCAing a lot to hopefully catch some of these bottom areas, because you can lose. It's amazing, what you can get at 0.0. Just remember what you get at 0.003. Every 0.003 is another X. But now when you have to do if you buy now, every 0.006 is a 2X, right? So if you buy, that much of a difference is crazy. As the prices get higher and higher, the more X's that you exponentially will get. It's just, it's weird how it works, but
yeah. And again, just to see that out of nowhere, those have been the two biggest movers here. And actually, if you want to, because I wanted to get into this. Actually, real quick, let's just pull up the Pulse chart too, since we mainly look at it as the main chart, obviously, of the ecosystem. So that is looking really good. I mean, that's the first significant kind of move up that we've seen on this chart against the dollar for a little while here. So that looks good. And then maybe if you want to, like we have been the last couple of weeks, we could pull it up against ETH as well, because that's probably starting to curl up even more rather than just flatlining. But yeah, what do you see from Pulse here? I mean, it looks more, it makes me feel more confident that that was the bottom. But, you know, when you're down here for this long, you get sick of trying to say that it was. So what do you think?
Almost seeing a little cup and handle here formation. It's usually they round out with a little handle here. It's just it's a bullish pattern anyway. As long as we keep making higher lows. So right now our structure needs to kind of stay above this 3772 area, which will keep it bullish. If we drop back below it, then we could dip down in again. I heard some other people saying that they wanted to get it back to the the 003 area to retest it and bounce off to see, just to see that structure hold. And that would be a much better confirmation anyway. But either way, it is looking good. And, as long as we, again, keep making higher lows, even a couple pullbacks in here aren't going to hurt anything. It just keeps it healthy and does shake out some of the excess that hasn't been yet so far.
Yeah. Do you want to pull it up against ETH real quick? Just out of curiosity, I want to see if it looks like it's coming out of the flat line a little bit here.
I got to pull it up on Dex Screener to do that. So give me 1 second.
And then we have an interesting thing too, talking about the two hexes and about parity. I think we might, I want to table that maybe for after we get a little bit deeper into the FOMC thing here. But a tweet from Johnny Chaos just the other day about the hexes and how people argue against parity, and, Richard Hart, the death tweet, obviously, of eHex months ago. And, obviously that ratio getting larger than it ever was before. I think there's a conversation to be had about the potential of parity and how parity could actually be attained again. And Johnny did bring up something really interesting in a tweet the other day. So we're going to look at that here in a bit as well. So just a teaser there. Do you got it?
Yeah, I think so. This is
I think that's backwards again. That says WETH/Pulse.
Right.
Yeah, just do the WPLS. No. Do the oh wait, here, if you go down, there's one. I saw one, but go ahead. Okay, yeah, that top one will work. Not now. Okay.
There it is. We're looking on the ETH side. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. All right. So yeah, if you I was going to say, if you want to, we can look at it zoomed in, but I wanted you to zoom out first. Actually, that's what I like to look at. So if you look at like back to May, I mean, we've had this just flat line here for such a long time. But look, I mean, here in September, you can see big time starting to crawl up here. So this is really more valuable than looking at the USD chart, in my opinion.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that, and like I said, I think on last week's show, I mean, that should bring people comfort. Like if you're looking at the USD price dropping and you're afraid of it and stuff like that, just keep looking at this chart where it had been kind of flatlining against ETH. And now as you zoom in here and start to see the moves coming up, I mean, this is definitely really, really bullish right now. So yeah, we'll see if
for sure
ETH can catch up to Bitcoin.
Yeah, it looks good. We've grown. Let me get a measurement here of this one. It just with up 38%. So and that's just since the beginning of this month.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's definitely a nice move. And that, I think a lot of people should be looking at that chart as well. So good stuff. I mean, we are seeing green candles everywhere in the ecosystem this week, so definitely good for sure. We will see kind of how things move off this rate hike, which rate hike. I'm used to the last 2 years. We haven't seen a rate cut now for quite some time. And really since the duration of doing this show, I mean, we've only seen rate hikes in proportions of 50 to 75 points. So it's interesting to be in this environment again.